Hi, today we're going to do an oil change on my 2009 Escape V6. The vehicle has about 240,000 miles, so I'm not that fussy about it. I just want to get some new oil in it. I've removed the drain plug, and you can see we got some oil draining out right now. The vehicle's cold. This is the oil plug, and it took a 15mm socket to remove it. And you can see it's nice and black. Probably got about 8,000 or 9,000 miles on it. And then the next, well, we let that drain. My favorite filter that I use is these Fram filters. And it's because they have a paint coating on here mixed with some abrasive material, almost like a sand. But they're really easy to get off of the vehicle. You can get a good grip on it. So the next step is we're going to take a little bit of oil. We're going to put a thin film on this rubber seal gasket. The one tip I want to give you is, I've done so many of these, and I like doing them myself. I can get a better price on the oil, catch it on sale, and then I can see if there's other problems with the car. But my tip is, one time this seal from the old filter stayed on the vehicle. And when I put the new one on, I had two seals. When I started the vehicle, I had oil pouring out. The point I'm trying to make is make sure that this seal from that old filter comes off. And that's another reason why we put a little coat of oil on, and just so it doesn't twist when you put it on. It looks like our oil is just about done. You can see, like I said, this vehicle has a ton of miles, so I'm not concerned about getting every little itty bitty amount of oil out. So I'm going to go ahead and put that plug back in. The key when it comes to putting these plugs in is, do not over tighten this plug. So I put my hand around the back so I don't get a lot of oil on me. I start threading it in. Keep threading, and then I'm going to feel that I bottom out. Push this little guy out of the way. Now, we're going to take our 15mm socket. We want to make sure it's righty-tighty. So this is tightening. I'm going to put it on here. And my goal is to first snug it up. I feel it snug, and then I'm going to kind of go just, I don't know, let's call it 1/8 of a turn, and it snugs. And that's it. We're going to go after this filter next, which is always a trick. I want to make sure you don't get oil all over you. This carpet a little. So what I do is I just start to loosen it slowly, and then I'm going to see that oil start to flow, and then I'm going to let it kind of drain. There we go. Just kind of let it drain off the oil pan. You can see it. Once it slows down, I'm going to unthread the filter and kind of hold it upright so that I don't get a bunch of oil spilling. See, I bring it down upright, and then I can dump the oil in. I had told you about making sure that gasket comes off, and you can see the gasket is not off. It's on the engine. So this little tip is going to work out good because mine's still up there. They say you know, oil can be bad for your skin, or you don't want... I don't do many oil changes, just my own cars. But I imagine you could have wore gloves doing this. Probably be a good idea. I'm going to need my light to get that gasket off. And it's right here. This is the old gasket that would have caused us all kinds of problems. So we're gonna bring in the new filter now. And I kind of, these can be tricky. Just got to be patient and line it up and gently thread it in. And you can feel any resistance. You want to make sure it's just going on very easily, and this is. So now I go to where I snug it up, and then I'm going to make, I would say, a quarter turn. Actually, it's going to be more like a half turn. And I'm going to compress that gasket. And there we go. I'm going to take a minute to wipe up a little bit of this oil that drained down so I don't mistake it as a leak. This car, like I said, has 240,000 miles, so it has some leaks. But it's paid for, and it's been a good car. So now we're going to go topside, and we're going to put some oil in it. Already removed the cap. And we're gonna pour some oil in. I'm gonna put about 4 quarts in. And then I'm going to start the engine with the cap on, let it run because it gets into the oil filter, and then recheck the level. As you can see, I use some of this stop leak. They recommend 20% of the amount, but I just kind of guesstimate. And it's like honey. And once again, this is just an older vehicle, and I just want it to leak less. So I'm probably going to put about, I'm going to guess at a half a quart. Said, really thick stuff. We're waiting for this to, it's so thick, get through the funnel. And I have a, I'm going to wash it kind of down with some oil. We're going to put the cap back on. What we're going to do next is we're going to lower the car back down. And you can see I put in a safety jack here. going to remove that. This just allowed easier access getting under the car. So we're going to go ahead and lower this jack down slowly. What we want to do next is go ahead and make sure that nothing's leaking from our oil filter or our oil pan plug. So I come over here as it's running, and I'm just going to look. You know, right now you see one little drip, and that's not a concern because where we had the plug, I don't want to see a steady drip of any kind. And nothing continuous, so we have no leaks. And that's what we want to see, so we're going to turn the car back off now. Now we're kind of letting the oil settle. I'm going to pull my cap back off because I know I'm going to have to add some more. On this vehicle, the dipstick's right here, kind of hidden, got a little yellow handle on it. So we're going to wipe the dipstick off. We're going to put it back in. Put my glasses on. Recheck. And need lots of oil. This model takes, I'm always surprised, quite a bit. Probably 5.5 quarts. You notice I leave the dipstick out while I'm filling it, because when you fill it, it gets back on the dipstick. So I don't have to wipe it again. You never want to overfill. So we're letting it settle, drain down. You can kind of tell if it's not all drained down because it'll be up on this stick here. But we're looking to get it to, you can see the cross hatches there. And then that top hole. Let's see. Now we're just showing up on the stick right about there. You can see I rotate it because sometimes you don't see it there, but you can see it on the back side. So keep going, add a little more oil. We're just letting it settle. And we're going to do it. You can see where it's at now. Right there. Almost full on the cross hatches. Just going to use the rest of this up. We put about 6 quarts in. It'll say in your owner's manual what type of oil you're supposed to use. This calls for 5W20. I was using 5W30 just because it's a little thicker, and this is burning and leaking oil. That's the same thing that my oil additive does, is it thickens it up. You can get a little worse mileage, but I'm just not going through as much oil. Like I said, it's an older car. It's got 240,000 miles on it. This might be a good tip for you for older vehicles. I'm going to put my cap back on. Just kind of goes into place. And we'll check her one more time. Why not? See how close we got. There we are. And I'm good with that, because when this runs, it's going to warm up and expand. And I think that's going to be just fine. So, there you have it. If you have any questions about what we did, feel free to leave me a comment, and I appreciate you watching.